your family was one of the pioneering families in promoting Barolo, especially in this country.
Yes, my uncle Bruno started 60 years ago, probably. So Bricco Rocche is it's 1.46 hectares. It's the smallest MGA of the Barolo area. And Bricco means top of the hill, so it's the highest vineyard in Castiglione Falletto. So the winery was started by my grandfather almost 90 years ago, and but he was just a negociant, and it's my father and my uncle Bruno that they started to purchase vineyards. And Bricco Rocche was purchased around late 70s, where we also built the winery, where we vinify our single vineyard Barolo. I'm the third generation. Today the winery owns about 130 hectares of land in the Langhe area, and we have 10 hectares in Barolo where we vinify 6 single vineyards and a Barolo Classico. Yeah, as Antonio was saying, Bricco Rocche for us is probably one of the most important vineyard, and it's a winery. It's a vineyard that in 2009 it was almost 50 years old. We had to replant a part of a parcel of the vineyard because it's made by 2 parallel plots, one facing southeast and one facing southwest. And at that time, I was really wondering about what is terroir, does the terroir exist? And so from the plantation that sometimes it happens if you're a good producer once in your life, because you would like to have the vineyard lasting as much as possible. So I decided to try to make and to think what were the best things to do to enhance as maximum what is the terroir, because at the end terroir it's a tiny little difference from one vineyard to other, or from one wine to another, that takes a long time to to understand and to know what is the best to do out of it. And since that, I decided to move on biodynamic. So since 2009, on the replanting of the vineyard of Bricco Rocche, we moved into the biodynamic with a biodynamic approach. And starting on that, we also think on using other rootstock. Nebbiolo is a pretty vigorous, I'd say, variety, and most of the time we have to crop thin the crop because the production is high. So we moved into, less vigorous rootstock, and we also create our Massal selection through 3 years of research into all our vineyards in Barolo and Barbaresco. We identify like 50 plants, and now we have our mother vineyard where we take the Nebbiolo from whenever we have to replant a Barolo Barbaresco vineyard. What else? Since 2017, we also global warming is affecting a lot, so we had to. What I think is, I had to cover with hail nets the vineyard because summer storms are less but really strong and heavy, and most of the time Barolo area is hit by hail, and the only way to produce and to cover from that damage it was to cover from hail nets. What we try to do for the same reason is to try to avoid tillage, so let's work take the work of the soil as minimum, because with these storms the erosion is really strong. So try to covering as much as we can. The soil makes helps us with avoiding the erosion. In the cellar, the hand of the man, it's important in making wine, and in terroir, the hand of the man is a big part of it. But I've tried to think, and I thought that for me, the traditional way of producing Barolo with long maceration and the least touch as possible, so using only one method to try and to make decision on the wine is a constant tasting, and always try to say no on an intervention, because as I told you before, the differences are so tiny that it's important to not push too much the winemaking. 2019 for us was a really good vintage. It was a late vintage compared to this. I consider 1996 more or less the vintage of the turning point of the climate change. And after that, we're having, before that it was hard to vinify around 14 alcohol. Now it's almost impossible to stay below 15.5. So it's, the approach in the vineyard is probably really important to try to delay and to have the best ripening with this enormous heat. The only good thing is that before 96, the rain was a problem, and we were bottling 3-4 vintage out of 10. With this type of climate, we have no more rain in September or October. So Bricco Rocche today, we bottle and we vinify it almost 9 vintage out of 10. So at least a good thing with global warming happened. We can drink more of these wines.
Thank you.
Thank you.